Hey Zach.
Nick.
All right, let's hit 4 or 5 shots around the green that basically encompass all your short game practice.
Yep.
And we're gonna do it in like 5 minutes.
Let's do it and talk about which ones matter the most
Okay.
too.
So here's the easy one, near the green. We're defining near the green as anything within 20 yards and where you have a decent lie. So not that deep, nasty rough, but I'm gonna hit that one in a second. So tour players get this up and down about 75% of the time. This is kind of a tricky shot, so maybe the odds will be lower.
That's right.
Okay. Then as a 70s player gets up here, they get up and down less frequently, closer to 50-50. So they average about 2.45 shots from here. The 80s players, 2.6 shots on average from here, and then 90s and above, 2.8 all the way up to 3 shots. So they're lucky to get it on the green and lucky to 2-putt most of the time.
Those are good to know, just what someone's targets are, but also just what their goals should be. So if you're trying to drop 10 strokes, you can use those numbers as here's what you're trying to accomplish on your chip shots from near the green.
Yeah, and you can save a ton of shots. Like this is legitimately where I think most people should practice most of their greenside shots.
Yeah, this is the biggest short game separator of skill.
Yeah, it's like your most basic pitch. So I've got a 56 degree. I pretty much hit every shot around the green basically the same way. I'm trying to predict where I want to land this, which is a little bit right of the hole. And then I execute my shot and watch that one roll up there.
Real nice. So nice.
I like almost PGA Tour level. That's at least low 70s level.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right.
And I like what you said there too, just talking about trying to predict where it lands. That's probably the part where I see most amateurs and most students just not understand that part of their game is how far do I need to fly this chip shot?
Great point. So I just hit a 56 degrees. Basically, this isn't my club. I usually hit a 58 degree on almost every shot around the green because of the predictability. And then I actually like reading less of the green. So a lot of amateurs pull out a 6, 7, 8 iron here, or sometimes even putt this. Putting's more challenging because you've got to master the amount of speed this is going to take off of the ball as it rolls here. Not something you can't overcome, but it's not necessarily easier. But now I've got to read the green from about 50 feet, and this has a ton of slope in it. I don't like my odds of doing that. I mean, I could do this. I've got a pretty good idea of what I would do, but I don't like a guy who shoots 80, 90s, or a woman who's out there just playing with her friends on the weekends and isn't a serious golfer to try to predict what this is going to do. So it's too hard.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be using different clubs around the greens.
I don't either. It's a complicated way to do it, and when you start looking into the lower lofts too, you have to predict that first bounce as well. It's just complicated.
And it's a shot you're going to hit like 0 times in a month.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm never going to go out there and practice this one shot enough time to actually get good at it.
Yeah.
If I grab this wedge, even though it's not mine, I still got it. Yep. Okay, I got two balls here in the rough. One is sitting up perfectly, and then one that is really nasty, gnarly. I don't actually want to hit that. That could be embarrassing, but let's do it.
We'll do it anyway.
First, when you have a good lie like this, because you get a little bit of grass between the golf club and the ball, your tendency for this shot is that it's going to come out higher. It's got less spin. It will roll further than that fairway lie. Yep. So reading your shot is really important on this. It's going to come out higher, roll farther, less spin.
Yep, so I need that into account.
Yep, I need to land this a little bit shorter than I would on that previous shot and plan for it to roll. That one came out really hot and it rolled past the one I had from the fairway.
Yep. And that's the other thing to expect too out of these types of lies is just the expectation too. So this shot, what happens to this ball right here is going to be a whole lot more predictable than what's going to happen on these two. You recognize those basic patterns, but it's still going to be chaotic.
So now you'll see that my second shot is probably 2 feet further away, and my odds of making that just went down by 20% because it's really 10% for every foot past that 8-foot range.
Yep.
I know that's a lot to remember. We'll include a video into that. Here as well.
We'll talk more about that another day.
Yeah. Now I got a nasty one. So this one, Zach, tell me about what's going to happen out of this.
Yeah, so this one, difference here is the ball's just sitting down a little more. So got down in some of that rough, it just set all the way down to the turf. So still going to be unpredictable, but sort of a similar pattern, but the other way around. So expect it to launch a little lower. Your spin is going to tend to be less as well, so you have all this grass here behind the ball, so you can expect a lower spin, and then lower ball speed as well, because there's going to be so much grass between the ball and the club itself. So you got to take those things into account.
Yep. So it's the amount of grass. An easy way to think of a system here. The amount of grass you're going to have between your club and the ball is influencing the shot.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have a ton of grass between this, no matter how good I hit it. No matter how good or bad I hit this fairway lie, I'm not going to have any grass between the club and the ball.
Yep.
So
predict what happens there, harder to predict what happens there.
Yep. So I'm going to actually land this in theory a little closer to 50% of the way that I did all those other shots because I'm just afraid this one's going to roll so far.
Yep.
And that one came out really low, There's a ton of grass between me and the ball. That wouldn't be unexpected even for the shot. And quite honestly, because of the slope of the green, well, I wouldn't like that one. That'd be a little irritating. It's probably not out of the realm of expectations for me to hit a shot like that.
Yeah, it was a tricky spot there.
Okay, next one, Zach. We got a 20-foot putt up here.
Yep, hopefully the chip shot got closer than that one.
Yeah, it did. Well, not the last one, but whatever. Here, trade your club.
2 out of 3 isn't that bad.
You're doing great. Okay, so I got 20 feet here, Zach. This is a terrible putt to practice. Can you explain to everyone why?
Yeah, so this is the distance that people commonly practice.
Yes.
This one, drop a couple balls, practice your 20 footers, but this is the one that likely matters the least to scoring because most everybody 2-putts these almost all the time.
Yeah. So the average make distance from 20 to 25 feet on the PGA Tour is 12%.
Yep.
So let's say you practice your tail off on this.
Yeah.
You get so good at these that you actually make 1 out of every 10.
Yeah.
Great job.
Made no difference to your scoring.
If you really didn't practice at all, you might make 9.5.
That's right.
So don't practice the 20 footers. They're not really reasonable enough.
Yep.
But if I back up another 10 feet, now I'm at 30 feet. So 30 feet matters. This is the distance, approximately, give or take about a foot, where tour players actually 2-putt on average. So this is significant because now you're getting into a range where the average amateur does not 2-putt from here.
Yeah, you start seeing that number start to creep higher. You start seeing more 3-putts from this 30-foot range.
Yeah, so this 30-footer is really good because getting really good at this, where you can 2-putt this regularly, and you feel good over these 30-footers that something bad isn't going to happen. To do that, you have to be good at the green reading skill. The starting the ball on the right direction skill can be okay. That can be more lax, but most importantly, you get the distance right with the stroke you're trying to propel this. So from here, I'm not looking to make this ever. This one is a downhill little slider. It's pretty fast. From 30 feet here, I'm just trying to get this one up and down, hit it close enough to the hole where I can make that next one, and I did. That's good enough.
That's great, yeah. And a nice way to practice that too for our amateur players out there is just think of any distance putt is just a 10% window. So if you can get all your balls to end up inside of 10% of the total putt distance, that's a nice start. So that's 3 feet for 30.
Yeah, you got it. So 30 feet, 3 feet.
Yep.
Anything further away, the same thing. Now, if you really did want to practice short ones that are worth some value, take 3 really big steps from that hole, and you're getting into the 5 to 10 foot range.
Yep.
And this one starts to separate, say, the 70s players from tour level golfers for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. This is where most of the putts are being made, and that's like you said, where you see that separation.
So you saw that 30-footer and how I missed it a couple feet to the right. These, obviously, you're going to give yourself a better chance. You might make those a little bit more. That one's worth practicing too.
Yep.
So last one, trade your clubs one more time.
Let's do it again.
All right. So this one has a ton of utility in practicing, but I think most people don't really know what they're practicing.
Yep, exactly. So for your different skill levels, so tour players from here on these greenside bunkers are around 50% on their up and down rate. It hovers right around there from year to year. When you start getting into the amateur skills, it really starts to plummet, really. So for your 70s players, stroke average for this shot would be about 2.85. For your 80s player, it'd be about 3.25. And for your 90s player, it'd be 3.6.
Yeah.
On this shot right here.
Take that one into account.
Yeah.
And we mentioned it in a different video. Because it's 3.6 shots for someone who's a 90s shooter to get this ball into the hole, you are far better off finding like a safe place on the green to have hit your shot to begin with and 3-putt from there.
Exactly.
Safe
You're
shot.
gaining strokes on yourself at that point.
So avoiding bunkers as a 90 player is such an important part of this. Now this shot's about 15 yards. It's maybe 40 feet to get to that hole. The 2 shots you really need to practice because of that skill level are really just a 15-yard bunker shot and a 25-yard bunker shot.
Yep, that's it.
Right?
Yep, get those 2 down, and then you basically have the 2 greenside bunker shots you need. You have one that's on the shorter side, and if that hole location happened to be on the very far side of that green, you still have a chance of getting it closer to the hole there as well.
Exactly.
Those 2 shots.
But you see people that we teach all the time who are practicing a shot to that flag, one down to the front, one that's like 40 yards away. That is a total waste of time. Just get good at those 2 shots and you're pretty well there.
Yep,
all right, so
that's it.
What's the tour player average from greenside bunker shot like this one?
It's about 8 feet. So 8 feet, that'd get you pretty close to that 50% up and down range from this shot. Yeah. You're a little outside of that, but pretty close.
Probably 15-ish, so not my best shot, but I have practiced exactly 0 of these this year. So
well, now it's 1.
I'll take it, yeah. All right, so you learn the basics of a chip shot.
Yep.
Learn how to read a lie out of the rough. Stop practicing 20 footers, stick to your 30 footers, or if you want to putt inside of that, go to the 5 to 10 range. Learn 2 basic bunker shots, 15 yards and 25 yards. We just covered a lot of stuff, and maybe that was closer to 10 minutes, but
Yeah.
that's what you need to know to practice, and that's how you should be working on your game around the greens.
Yeah, that's your formula, and the one to practice the most is that very first one. I don't know if we said that one already, but that very first one.
Can't say that enough.
No, that's the one to spend maybe 75% of your short game time. That's the one that can help you drop your scores the fastest.
Basic chip shot. Okay, thanks, Zach.
All right.